Hello everyone, hope you're right. In today's video I'm going to show you how my garden is doing in the beginning of May. We are in the middle of spring and weather is still going quite cold for us. The nights are really cold, below 10 degrees centigrade and sometimes under 5 degrees centigrade. The days are warming up a little bit, but we are getting lots of rain and windstorms. So it's still pretty cold, taking into account that we are in the middle of spring and we should be planting things outside now, but the weather is still really cold, so we are struggling a little bit hoarding the plants inside. All my seedlings that I started from seeds or overwintered them inside my house from cuttings, and I'm keeping them inside my garden room. Here's my garden room and it gets a little bit of sun during afternoon. I have a grow light set up there, so I'm keeping all these plants inside and I do want to plant them outside now, but it's still pretty cold, so I'm acclimatizing them now. It's been a couple of weeks. I take them outside for an hour or 2 hours, but as soon as they start to feel sluggish with droopy leaves, I take them inside. So it will take another couple of weeks for them to be planted outside. Otherwise the garden is coming to life now. You can see it's pretty full now. We have got some mature trees and shrubs which are looking really good now. They have leafed out and they have got their buds. Some are done flowering and some are starting to flower. Starting here on the right side, you can see this is Esclonia bush and it's coming into life now. New growth is emerging and looking good so far. It hasn't got flower buds yet, so I'm still waiting how it will look with its flower buds. This one I'm not really sure what is it. If anybody knows its name, please put in the comment box. It is fully leafed out now, looking really good. It's multi-trunk, really beautiful structure, and it is budding up and soon it will be flowering. You can see all these beautiful clusters of flower buds looking amazing. Next we have got Photonia red robin, and it has got its new red leaves which are absolutely amazing. It's been looking very beautiful since February. It is looking amazing and it has got its flowers now. Soon it will be flowering. And next to it I planted my plum tree which was in the container earlier, so it had some root damage and I have planted it now, so hopefully it will recover soon. And it is fully leafed out now. Not many flower buds on this one, so I don't expect much harvest. This is a Melenchia tree and it is already done flowering. You can see all these bent buds and it was so amazing. Just past week it was all full and still looking good. Next, another red robin which is a bit smaller than the other one, and here is my nectarine tree which I planted last year in the container and I brought it with me, so I planted here in the ground now and it is starting to leaf out, but I think it will take some time to settle down in this place. Here is my beautiful bird bath, really beautiful. We ordered it locally and it is handmade with concrete and I really like it. Here is my cherry tree. I guess I'm not really sure about the variety, whether it's ornamental or does it bear edible fruit, but it's really beautiful. It is pretty young. It has these beautiful double flowers which are amazing, and I guess when it grows fully it will be a beautiful display. These are apple trees which are well established and they are starting to flower now, but they are not many flowers, so I think there won't be much harvest of apples this year. Here is a skimia which is done flowering, and there was another skimia there in the corner, and these are done flowering now but still looking good. These are evergreens, and there is the rose bush and it is leafed out now. Soon it will bear some flowers. I can see some birds there. This is holly plant, I guess, and it has got some damaged due to late frost we had last week. You can see all the damage that happened due to the late frost. And this one is Pyrus Flaming Red, and it was really pretty last week with its beautiful red, pink new leaves, but you can see those were damaged due to the late frost we had last week, but there are some coming now. Underneath I planted my heuchera plants. You can see they are starting to grow now, and soon it will be full with heuchera plants underneath, and I think it will look really beautiful once the heuchera plants fill up the space. And there are some bulbs, I think these are alliums growing there, which maybe the owner planted or self-sown. I'm waiting for them to see what they are actually, otherwise I will dig them out. This is my apple tree which was in the container. It had really bad root damage due to grubs, primeval grubs, and I planted it here, and I think it's doing good now. You can see it's starting to flower, but this is still pretty young tree to bear much fruit. Hostas I planted just this week and they are looking good, and there's clematis which I planted, and the hydrangea. I planted few more hydrangeas around the garden. They are pretty young plants, will take some time to establish. Here are all the planters with garlics in them, garlic plants which I planted in the autumn last year, and once they are done then I can plant other vegetables in there. This is bay laurel tree. I pruned it into tree form and it is starting to flower now. And this is the show stealer at the moment. Look at its beauty and glory, absolutely amazing. I can't really describe how beautiful it looks, and with its new red leaves. This is maple tree. It has really beautiful canopy and structure, and this is amazing. I'm really thankful for all these mature shrubs and trees we have got this in this garden. They are really well established, and I think the previous owners took into account the year-round interest planting these trees. There are multiple shrubs and trees which have like year-round interest with their new growths. Some are evergreens and some have really beautiful canopy. This is the bit which we have done. We have got this circular lawn with white borders, and I have started to plant these borders. You can see these box plants, they are growing now, and soon I think in few years it will be like a hedge. And few lavender plants I planted here and there, sweet williams, and I have planted spring flowering bulbs just this week. There at the back of apple tree I planted lilies, and here I planted my dahlia bulbs, and I have got sunflowers and zinnias and so many other annuals waiting to go in this flower border. There are my raised beds where I have got radish and lettuce, spinach which I sowed from seeds, my strawberry plants which I brought from previous garden. They are doing good now. We only growing the fruits and vegetables which we really enjoy, and they are not very trouble some vegetables and or not attract many pests. Like I'll be growing strawberries. We love strawberries and they are really easy to grow. Tomatoes really are good to grow because they are expensive to buy from store, and if you grow your own tomatoes they taste much better. So I'll be growing tomatoes. Chilies and peppers, sometimes they do good for us, sometimes not, so I can have a go on them to see. Eggplants, I never have success with them, they always fail on me, so I'm not growing them, but I still have seeds, so I'll be using those seeds, but once those finish I will not be growing them again. Brassicas, they attract so many pests that I'm not going to grow them again. Lettuce do not do well for me because in spring it's very cold and then it starts warming and they go to seed, so I'm not going to grow lettuce again as well. Spinach is really good for me, so I'll be growing spinach, garlic, tomatoes, chilies and peppers and things like that. So here in this border I have planted some fancy plants which were all self-sown, and I've taken some of them out and plant them here. These are ranunculus which are starting to bud up now. Soon they will be growing. There's my grapevine which is starting to leaf out, and the rose plant here which I just planted this spring, and soon they'll be climbing on this arch. Really beautiful arch we got from Forest Garden. And here I have flanked this arch with my containers. So these containers have got junipers in them in the middle, so I pruned them in the tree form, and I intend to make them into topiaries. Underneath I have got creeping phlox which are budding up now. Soon they will flowering. And here on this side of the arch I have got anemones and jasmine and grapevine which will be covering the fence soon. My ranunculus and anemones suffered a lot when I planted them outside because the weather got really cold and all the growth was damaged, and now they are starting to grow again. Daffodils in this container, blueberry bush and loganberry bush in these containers. Here is my kiwi vine which is in its 4th year, and this year it has got some birds. Not sure whether it will bear any fruit or not, but it has grown quite a lot. Every year it gets spider mite infestation in the middle of summer and then it struggles. Let's see how it does now. My pea plants here, and that container I keeping for my beans. Here are scabiosa which I planted last year and they survived the winter, so that gives me an idea that they are perennial for us, so I can plant them more often in my garden. So I have started some from seeds and I'll be planting them in the garden. These are forget me not, so I need to shift them in the garden as well. Stock plants which I also need to shift in the garden, some spring onions and self-sown pansies here and there. These coleus plants I started from cuttings, so I have a big coleus plant which I bought last year, and then I got lots of cuttings, and you can see they are looking good, so they will be growing in the garden as well. Zinnias and sunflowers already budding up. I need to plant them in the garden, waiting for the weather to warm up. Aubergines, tomatoes, cucumbers, chilies, beans, geraniums which I took the cuttings and overwintered them in my house. And some pumpkins and zucchinis. Zucchinis are okay for us to grow, so I'll be growing them, but I won't be growing pumpkins anymore. Just finishing the seeds I have. These impatiens I bought from the store, and those lobelias I bought from the store. So I need to plant all these things in this garden, and I have got few containers at the front and a little patch which I need to plant, and I'm waiting for the weather to warm up. In this big container I have got my camellia plant and some worms, and they are quite congested here, so I need to take one out, I think, plant it in the garden. These are self-sown pansies. Don't really like their colors, so I'll be pulling them out. Ivy vine, these are alliums. I'm keeping them in the container for now, but I'll be shifting them in the garden in autumn. All my daffodils in these containers and self-sown pansies. Here are some other plants which I bought, and I need to plant them in my garden. Coming weeks it will be warm enough for these plants to go outside, and I'll be planting. So if you want to stay updated about how is it going, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my garden videos. Thank you very much for watching today. See you next time. Bye.